Welcome to NFL World NFL Starts and Ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And today we're going to reveal the reasons of why Shedeur Sanders fell into day 3 and fell to the Browns at pick 144 in round 5. So, why don't you come and join me and let's dive directly into this quote-unquote mystery. So, there's 3 of them. If I can hold my hand up correctly. There's 3 reasons. One of which does revolve around the Sanders family more than him. Definitely, there is not one about race, because I find this one stupid. It's stupid, it's lazy, it's boring, and it's overdone. When these people went on their weekday shows and said Shedeur was not picked until the 5th round, the NFL is racist. No, they're not. When 5 quarterbacks, this is the truth, 5 quarterbacks went before Shedeur Sanders. 5 of them. 3 of them were black or Hispanic or not white. Okay? In fact, I will name you the 5 quarterbacks that went. Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, who's not that good. He was actually in the recruiting class with Trevor Lawrence and Penei Sewell all those years ago. Jalen Milroe, and Dylan Gabriel. Not in order. Dylan Gabriel was before Milroe. But those are the 5 guys that went. Those are the 5. Ward, Dart, Shuck, Gabriel, and Milroe all went before Sanders did. And as I look back to reflect this, there's 3 reasons why, but it doesn't consist of race. There's 3 quarterbacks that went before Shedeur. Cam Ward was one of them. He was the number 1 overall pick. As much as I said Shedeur probably should go to Tennessee, I think he's the better player. They went with Cam Ward. Cam Ward is black. Then there was Dylan Gabriel. He was the quarterback at Oregon. Took over for Justin Herbert. And he's okay. He's not great, but he's okay. He went in the 3rd round. Then you had Jalen Milroe. Went to Seattle. Played quarterback at Alabama. Was more of a project. Everyone knew he was a project. Goes in round 4. Shedeur goes in round 5. I find it hard to believe people believe that the NFL is racist when a good 75% of the quarterbacks are black that are the starters. Think about it. Go through every division. Everyone, I think, except that division, have a black starting quarterback. We'll do this on the fly here. AFC North has Lamar Jackson. If you want to count Shedeur Sanders, that's fine too, but the Browns did. Hold on. See if we can come back. Come on. So, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. Tua in the East. Richardson in the South, Geno in the West for the AFC. I'm just gonna, and then you go in the NFC, Jordan Love, Dak and Jalen Hurts in the East, Penix in the South, Murray in the West. There's 75% at least that are black. The NFL is not racist. They're not. It's a lazy argument, and I don't like it. It's bad journalism. We won't do that here. The 3 reasons why Shedeur Sanders went 144 overall. Number 1, his playing ability. When we look at a player who's a quarterback, we want the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow types of big guy, strong arm, can move a little bit, avoids, makes the big play. That's what we're looking for. Doesn't turn the ball over. That's what we're looking for. Shedeur's not that. Shedeur has an okay arm. Not a great arm. He's not mobile. Not really. He's a pocket passer. He's very accurate. So that's a good thing. He does turn the ball over quite a bit. But he's not a bad quarterback or anything. But the issue with his play is this. When you're scouting a player, you say, how quickly does this guy get rid of the ball? How quickly does he make decisions? How quickly does he get rid of the ball? And Shedeur holds the ball a lot, to the point he takes unnecessary hits and unnecessary sacks. He takes a lot of abuse for no reason because he wants to make the big play. I get it. But scouts see that as you hold the ball for a very long time. They see that as you can't read a defense, which is not good, which meant that they only saw him as a backup. So, which Joel Klatt said, he said as soon as they saw that he looked like a backup, because he was holding the ball forever, couldn't read the defense, couldn't figure out what was happening, they saw him as a backup, and boom, he fell down the board. It's very accurate. Very accurate analysis from Joel Klatt. Very accurate. That's number 1. Number 2. Number 1, this is in order, but this is the second one is really where I think it kind of hit home, was his ego. His ego. Specifically, he has a certain confidence about him. He has great confidence that borderlines on arrogance and cockiness. And those are 3 different things in the sports world. Even though they do mean very similar to the same thing, they're very different. Because when you're an athlete, you're not just going in and working out. You have to go into the team's office and talk to them. It's the interview process. We do this. Every job interview you go to, you're a little antsy, you're a little nervous, you want to ace this job, you want to get this job, you have to ace this interview. And some people are very comfortable with being nervous, very comfortable, and they do their best work when they're on edge. Others are not, and they falter. Shedeur is comfortable. If he gives an answer, like, I'll give you an answer. If you're talking about, you put a play up and you say, okay, Shedeur, why did you go and throw that route? Why not this one? Why not this one? And his answer is, because that's how I've always been taught. Can't further go deeper into that? Why not? Of why you chose to do this? which is, I think, was a big problem for him. I think he always did it this way. He never really said, okay, there's a reason I did this. And I think people thought that he really flunked the interview process. So you had the ego part, and the thing is, Warren Moon said this on Up and Adams this past week, and he said, quarterback is a humbling position. It's very humbling. And this is one of the first black quarterbacks saying this. He said, quarterback is a humbling position. And he said, Shedeur has the mindset of a corner, like his father, but has the body and the archetype of a quarterback. And that could lean people the wrong way if you have that ability. Think of that. When you think of Deion, go back to when you think of Deion Sanders and prime time and what that meant. Back in 1989, no player was as good, as dominant as Deion was. And he marketed himself that way, which no one else had ever done. Now in 2025, every player markets themselves. We don't call it that, but everyone does. Everyone markets themselves. It's called NIL. We call it a different thing, but it is the same thing. They market differently. Deion was doing it in 89. Nobody was doing it. Now everyone is. Okay. But Deion's ego matched his talent. Shedeur's ego, there's a problem there. And when you're looking at negatives, confidence is a positive. But if you have confidence, arrogance, and careless, or confidence, arrogance, and cockiness, that still leaves you to -1 because one of those things crosses out the other. And so should have found himself in the negatives before he even started. And then once you had a fail in the interview process, he's further down that negative rabbit hole. So that's the second thing. I think he failed the interview. And that was because of his ego, of what he has. And the last thing is the circus that comes around him and the Sanders boys. A fair assessment, you could say, of Shedeur Sanders would be this kid, his father always coached him. Always. From Pop Warner to college. How would he handle someone he doesn't respect in the immediate? That would be, and I think people were a little terrified of that. I also think he's going to be the most talked about backup quarterback in the NFL since Johnny Manziel and the Cleveland Browns did it back then. He's going to be the most talked about 4-string quarterback in camp. Because think about it. He can win that job and he can't. Deshaun Watson's out for the year. He tore his Achilles twice in 3 months. He's out for the year. He's not coming back. Your quarterback room consists of Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. He can win that job. Or he can win quarterback too. But whatever happens, if the media or the fans say, that guy threw an interception, Shedeur would have never done that. They've been chanting Shedeur. Shedeur hasn't done anything. And that's another thing. I don't think teams wanted to have to deal with that. They didn't want to have to deal with the circus that would revolve around the quarterback room for a backup quarterback. As much as I do think he can win the job, because we have seen backup we've seen guys who fall in the draft win the starting job. There's plenty of people who you can say that. Tom Brady's the biggest example. 6 quarterbacks went before Tom Brady. 6 of them. Another good example is Dak. Dak Prescott went in the 4th round. No quarterback. This is actually an unbelievable stat. I saw this past week. I couldn't believe this. No quarterback has started week 1 of their rookie year if they got drafted the 3rd round or later. The only one is Dak. But no one has done it since. Meaning, and Dak's been in the league 10 years. So that tells you how hard he could do that. Because of the quarterback discrepancy right now in Cleveland. But I think there's problems. I think how that family has always operated, always in the limelight, there are concerns. Obviously. I think Cleveland's the best place for him. This is for him. He loves the game of football. It's like dropping you into a pool at 10 feet instead of at 14 feet. Or 18 feet or whatever. Where that would be like the Giants, Dallas, LA, Texas really in general actually. LA in general actually. But that would be like dropping them in the bottom and the far end that you would be that. Cleveland, it's more tamed. So it gives him a better opportunity. I also think this is a Jimmy Haslam pick. This is not a pick because the coaches like this. Quarterbacks in the same draft. Unless there's a clear cut, we got to do this kind of thing. So, to quickly recap, his play was okay. But even people would say, who are scouts, he might be a backup. 2 is his ego. And failing the interview process. That's 2. And number 3, the circus that follows him around and follows every Sanders boy around. Do teams really want to have to deal with talking about the 2nd, 3rd, 4th string quarterback? No, they're trying to accomplish something. They want to talk about that. That is the reason Shedeur Sanders fell. Not because the NFL's racist. Because ego, playing ability, ego, and the circus that follows Shedeur everywhere he goes. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hewitt.